Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Bo-chan.
I'm Nimacum.
I'm Van-chan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you a part of Ulysses,
Bess,
L.
Ulysses, James Joyce. Chapter 18. For see, from the train somewhere whistling the strength those engines have in them like big giants, and the water rolling all over and out of them all sides like the end of those old sweets and the poor men that have to be out all the night from their wives and families in those roasting engines stifling. It was today I'm glad I burned the half of those old Freemans and photo bits, leaving things like that lying about us, getting very careless, and threw the rest of them up in the W. See, I'll get him to cut them tomorrow for me instead of having them there for the next year to get a few pence for them have them asking where's last January's paper and all those old overcoats I bundled out of the homemaking. The place hotter than it is. That rain was lovely and refreshing just after my beauty sleep. I thought it was going to get like Gibraltar. My goodness, the heat there before the Levanter came on back as night, and the glare of the rock standing up in it like a big giant compared with their 3 rock mountain they think is so great, with the red sun trees here and there, the poplars, and they all white hot, and the smell of the rainwater in those tanks watching the sun all the time watering down on you faded all that lovely frock father's friend Mrs. Stanhope sent me from the March Paris. What a shame I durst dug her in as she wrote on it. She was very nice, was this her? Their name was just a P. See, to tell you, I sent the little prison, have just had a jolly warm bath and feel a very clean dug now. Enjoyed it. Wogger, she called him Wogger. Peeve anything to be back in Japan. Who you sing waiting and in Old Madrid Cancun is the name of those exercises. He bought me one of those. Knew some word I couldn't make out. Shawls, amusing things, but dear for the least. Things still are lovely. I think on you will always think of the lovely teas we had together, scrumptious currant scones and raspberry wafers I adore. Well now, dearest Duggerna, be sure and write in kind. She left out regards to your father, also Captain Grove, with love eyes of Flea Hester XXXXX. She didn't look her they'd marry just like a girl. He was years older than her. Wogger, he was awfully fond of me when he held down the wire with his foot for me to step over at the bullfight at La Lina when that Matador Gomez was given the balls. Here, these clothes we have to wear. Whoever invented them, expecting you to walk up Killiney Hill then, for example, at that big nickel staced up. You can't do a blessing in them in a crowd or jump out of the wait. That's why I was afraid when that their ferocious old bull began to charge the bandoleros with the sashes and the 2 things in their hats, and the brutes of men shouting bravo to her should the women were as bad in their nice white mantle ripping all the hall insides out of those poor horses. I never heard of such a thing in all my life as he used to break his heart at me taking off the dog barking and bellowing, poor brute, and a sick what became of them ever. I suppose they dead long ago, the 2 of them. It's like all through 'em, it makes you feel so old. I made the scones of course I had everything all to myself. Then I got Hester, we used to compare our hair. Mine was thicker than hers. She showed me how to settle it at the back when I put it up, and what's this was how to make a knot on a thread with the one hand. We were like cousins. What age was I then? The night of the storm I slept in her bed. She had her arms round me. Then we were fighting in the morning with the pillow. What fun. He was watching me whenever he got an opportunity at the band on the lane to esplanade. When I was with father and Captain Grove, I looked up at the church first and then at the windows, then down, and our eyes met. I felt something go through me like all needles. My eyes were dancing. I remember after when I looked at myself in the glass, hardly recognized myself. The change. He was attractive to a girl in spite of his being a little bold, intelligent looking, disappointed and gay. At the same time he was like Thomas in the shadow of a shy date. I had a splendid skin from the sun and the excitement like a rose I didn't get. Oh, I could sleep it wouldn't have been nice on account of her, but I could have stopped it in time. She gave me the Minstone to read. That was The first I read of Wilkie Collins is than I read in the shadow of. Ashlied yet Mrs. Henry would Henry Dunbar by that other woman I lent him afterwards with. Mulvey's photo in it so as he see I was without and Lord Lytton Eugene. Our Aunt Molly one she gave me by Mrs. Hungerford on account of the name Iron. Don't like books with a Molly in 'em like that one he brought me about. The one from Flanders a whore always shoplifting anything she could cough and stuff and. The odds of it of his blanket is too heavy on me that's bitter I haven't. Even one decent mattress this thing gets all rolled under me besides him and his. Feeling that's better I used to be weltering then in the heat my shift drenched. With the sweat stuck in the cheeks of my bottom on the chair when I stood up they were so fattish and firm when I got up on the sofa. Cushions to see with my clothes up and the big stones of them at night. And the mosquito nets I couldn't rid a line Lord how long ago it seems. Centuries of course they never came back and she didn't put her dress right on. It either she may have noticed her worker people were always going away and we. Never I remember that day with the waves and the boats with their high heads. Working and the smell of ship those officers' uniforms on shore leave made me seasick. He didn't say anything, he was very serious. I had the high-button boots on. And my skirt was blowing, she kissed me 6 or 7 times, didn't I cry? Yes, I believe I did, or near it. My lips were tittering when I said goodbye. She had a gorgeous wrap of some special kind of blue colour on her. For the voyage made very peculiarly to one side like, and it was extremely pretty. It got as dull as the devil after they went. I was almost punning to run away mad out of it somewhere whenever easy where we are father or aunt or marriage waiting, always waiting to gush at him to me waiting no speed is. Flying feet their damn guns bursting and booming all over the shop, especially the Queen's. Birthday and throwing everything down in all directions if you didn't open the windows when General Ulysses Grant, whoever he was ordered, supposed to be some great fellow, landed off the ship, and old Sprague the consul that was there from before the flood. Dressed up for man and he in mourning for the son in the same old. Bugles for reveille in the morning and drums rolling and the unfortunate poor devils of soldiers walking about with mestons smelling the place more than the old Lombarded Jews in. The Agilibees and Levis assembly and sound clear and gunfire for the men to curse. The lions and the warden marching with his keys to lock the gates and the bagpipes and only Captain Groves and father talking about works drift in Plevno and Sir. Garnet Wolseley and Gordon at Gartram light in their pipes for them every time they went out. Drunken old devil with his grog on the windows will catch him leaving any of it. Picking his nose trying to think of some other dirty story to tell up in a corner, but he never forgot himself when I was there sending me out of the room on some blind excuse, paying his compliments to the Bushmills whiskey tucking of course. But I'd do the same to the next woman that came along. I suppose he died of galloping drink ages ago. The days like years, not a letter from a living soul except the odd few I posted to myself with bits of paper in. Then so bored sometimes I could fight with my nails listening to that old herb with the one eye and his hiss of an instrument singing his hee. All my compliment on your hot chap, what if your he's as bad as now with the hands hanging off me looking out of the window if there was a nice fellow. Even in the opposite house, that medical in Hull Street, the nurse was after one. I put on my gloves and hat at the window to show I was going. Not a notion what I meant, aren't they thick, never understand what you say. Even now I'd want to print it up on a bit poster for them, not even. If he shake hands twice with the left, he didn't recognise me either when I half rounded him outside Westland Road Chapel. Where does their great intelligence come in? I do like to know grey matter, they have it all on their tail if you ask me. Those country gadgets up in the city arms intelligence, they had a damn sight less than the bulls and cows they were selling the meat and the Comans. Well, that noisy bugger trying to swindle me with the round bull he'd skirt of his hat, what a pair of puss and pots and pans and kettles to mend any broken bottles for a poor man today, and no visitors or pustover except his checks for some advertisement like that wonder worker they sent him addressed, dear madam. Only his letter and the card from Millie this morning. See, she wrote a letter to him. Did I get the last letter from a Mrs. Dwen now what? possessed her to write from Canada after so many years to know the recipe I had for Pister Madrilen of Fluid Dillon since she wrote to say she was married to a very rich architect of him to believe all I hear with the villa and 8 rooms. Her father was an awfully nice man. He was near 70, always good and married. Well, now Miss Tweedy or Miss Gillespie, there's the pioneer that was a solid silver coffee service. He had 2 on the mahogany sideboard and dying so far away. I hate people that have always their birth story to tell. Everybody has their own troubles. That poor Nancy Blake died a month ago of acute pneumonia. Well, I didn't know her so well as all that she was Floey's friend more than mine. Poor Nancy. It's a bother having to answer. He always tells me the wrong things and now stops to say, like making a speech, your sad bereavements and faithy. I always make that mistake and Newfie with 2 W's, and I hope he'll write me a longer letter the next time. If it's a thing he really likes me, thanks be to the great God I got somebody to give me what I badly wanted to put some heart up into me. You've no chances at all in this place. Like used long ago, I wish somebody would write me a love letter. His wasn't much, and I told him he could write what he liked. Joseph or Hugh Boy Lennon. Aldwood stuff silly woman, believe love is sighing. I am dying still. If he wrote it, I suppose there'd be some truth in it, true or no. It feels up here a whole day in life, always something to think about every moment and see it all round you like a new world. I could write the answer in bed to let him imagine me, sure, just a few words, not those long crossed letters Dylan used to write to the fellow that was something in the forecourts. That jolted her after out of the lady's letter writer when I told her to say a few simple words he could trust, how he liked not acting with precipitancy, with equal and all the greatest earthly happiness, and search her gentleman's proposal affirmatively. My goodness, there is nothing else that's so very fine for them, but as for being a woman, as soon as you're old they might as well throw you out in the bottom of the ashpit. No, that's no way for him. Has he no manners, nor no refinement, nor no nothing in his nature slapping us behind like that on my bottom because I didn't call him Hugh the ignoramus. That does no poetry from a cabbage. That's what you get for not keeping them in their proper place, pulling off his shoes and trousers there on the chair before me, so barefaced, without even asking permission, and standing out that will go away in the half of a shirt. They were to be admired like a priest or a butcher, or those old hypocrites in the time of Julius Caesar. Of course, was right enough in his way to pass the time as a joke. Sure, you might as well be in bed with what with the lion got him. Sure, he'd have something better to say for himself, an old lion would. Oh well, I suppose it's because they were so plump and tempting in my short petticoatie. Can't resist, they excite myself sometimes. It's full from an other amount of pleasure they get off a woman's, but he was so round and way for them always. I wished I was for myself for a change, just to try with that thing they have swelling up on you so hard, and at the same time so soft when you touch it. My Uncle John has a thing long, I heard those corner boys saying, passing the corner of Marrowbone Lane. My Aunt Mary has a thing hairy because it was dark and they knew a girl was passing. It didn't make me blush. Why should it? Either it's only nature, and he puts his thing long into my aunt Mary's hurried her, and turns out to be you put the handle in a sweeping brush. Men again all over, they can pick and choose what they please, a married woman or a fast widow or a girl for their different tastes, like those houses round behind Irish Street. No, but we're to be always chained up. They're not going to be chaining me up, no damn fear. Once I start, I tell you, for their stupid husband's jealousy. Why can't we all remain friends over it instead of quarrelling? Her husband found it out what they did together well, naturally, and if he did, can he undo it as Coronado anyway, whatever he does, and then he go into the I'm at extreme about the wife and fair tyrants. Of course the man never even cast the second thought on the husband or wife either. It's the woman he wants, and he gets her. What else will we given all those desires? Why do you like to know? I can't help it. If I'm young still king, it's a wonder and not an old sharv I'll take before my time living with him so cold ever embracing me, except sometimes when he's asleep, the run end of me not knowing I suppose he has any man thackus a woman's, but a mighty throw my hat Atom after that it kiss anything unnatural where we haven't one atom of any kind of expression in us, all of us the same two lumps of lard before. A variety do that to men for the dirty brutes the mere foot is. Enough I kissed the feet of you sinner to there's some sense in that, didn't he? Kiss or how do he did what a madman nobody understands his cracked ideas, but me still of course a woman wants to be embraced 20 times a day almost. To make a lickin' no matter by so long as to be in. Love or lived by somebody if the fellow you want isn't there sometimes by the Lord God, I was thinking would I go around by the quays there some dark evening where nob did know me and pick up a sailor off the sea that be hot on for it and not care up in his I was only do it. Off up in a gate somewhere or one of those looking gypsies in Rathfarnham had. They camp bitch near the Bloomfield laundry to try and steal our things if they could. I only sent mine there a few times for the name model laundry sending. Me back over and over some old ones at stockings that blackguard looking fellow with the fine eyes peeling a switch attack me in the dark and ride me up against the wall without a word or a murder or anybody what they do themselves to fine gentlemen and their sulcats that Casey lives up somewhere this week coming out. I've heard Glenn the night he gave us the fish supper on account of winning over the boxing match. Of course it was for me he gave it, I knew him by his gaiters and the walk on when I turned round a minute after just to see there was a woman after coming out of it to some filthy prostitute. Then he goes home to his wife after that, only I suppose the half of those sailors are rotten again with disease of move over your big carcass out of that for the love of Mike. Listen to him, the winds that waft my sighs to thee so well he may sleep inside the great Sigister Dumpoldo till a floor if he knew how he came out on the quads this morning. Head of something to say for a dark man in some perplexity between 2 December 6, 2023. 2 in prison for Lord knows what he does that I don't know in him. To be switching around down in the kitchen to get his lordship his breakfast while I strolled up like a mommy. Well I indeed did. You ever see me running? I do just like to see myself at a show than attention and they treat you like dirt. I don't care what anybody says, it be much better for the world to be governed by the women in it. You wouldn't see women going and killing one another and slaughtering. When do you ever see women reeling around drunk like they do or gambling every penny they have and losing it on horses? Yes, because a woman whatever she does she knows where to stop. Sure they wouldn't be in that world. It'll only force they don't know what it is to be a woman and a mother. How could they? Where would they all of them be if they hadn't all a mother to look after them? What I never had, that's why I suppose he's running wild now out at night away from his books and studies and not living at home on account of the usual worry house. I suppose well it's a poor case that those that have a fine son like that are not satisfied, and I none was he not able to make one. It was my fault. We came together when I was watching the 2 dogs sipping air behind in the middle of the next street. That disheartened me altogether. I suppose I oughtn't to I've buried him in that little wee jacket I knitted, crying as I was but give it to some poor child. But I knew well I'd never have another hour. First death too it was. We were never the same since. Oh, I'm not going to think myself into the glooms about that anymore. I wonder why he wouldn't stay the night. I felt all the time it was somebody strange he brought in instead of roving around the city meeting God knows who night walkers and pickpockets. His poor mother wouldn't like that if she was alive, running himself for life. Perhaps still it's a lovely hour so silent. I used to love coming home after dances there of the night. They have friends they can talk to, even on neither he wants what he won't get, or is some woman ready to stick her knife in you. I hate that in women. No wonder they treat us the way they do. We are a dreadful lot of bitches. I suppose it's all the troubles we have makes us so snappy. I'm not like that he could easily have slept in there on the sofa in the other room. I suppose he was as shy as a boy, he being so young, hardly 20, of me in the next room. Hate have heard me on the chamber, or what harm did us? I wonder. It's like those names in Gibraltar, de la Paz, de la Gracia. They had the devil's queer names there for the Villa Plana of Santa Maria That gave me the rosary rosels why O'Reilly in the Colossi revealed to send. Pissenbo and Mrs. Oppiso in Governor Street, oh, what a name I'd go and drown. Myself in the first river if I had a name like her in my end. All the bits of Street's Paradise ramp and Bedlam ramp and Rogers ramp and crochets. Amp and a devil's cup steps will small blame to me if I am a haram scarma. I know I am a bit, I declare to God I don't feel a. The older than then I wonder could I get my tongue round any of that. Spanish camoista stood me by in grass, that's why I stood see I haven't forgotten it all. I thought I had only for the grammar and iron is the name of any. Person, place or thing petit I never tried to read that novel contain Christmas's review. Lent me by Valor with the questions in it all upside down the two ways. I always knew would go away in the end, I can tell him the Spanish. And he told me the Italian then I'll see him not so ignorant what Petit didn't stay him sure the poor fellow was dead tired and wanted it. Could sleep badly I could have brought him in his breakfast in bed with a bit of to so long as I didn't do it on the knife about. Doc or if the woman was going her rounds with the watercress and something nice. And tasty there are a few olives in the kitchen he might like I never. Could bear the look of them in our brains I could do the quiet of the room. Looks so right since I changed it the other way you see something was telling. Me all the time I'd have to introduce myself not knowing me from Edinburgh. Funny wasn't it his wife or pretend we were in Spain with him half. Awake without a god's notion where he is just was a stiletto's son-in-law at the correct. Things come into my head sometimes it'd be great fun supposing he stayed with us. Why not there's the room upstairs empty Emily's bed in the back room he could do his writing and studies at the table and therefore all the scribbling. He does at it and if he wants to read in bed in the morning. Like me is making the breakfast for one he can make it for two. In sure not going to take in lodgers off the street for him if he takes a jissabo of a house like this I'd love to have alone. Talk with an intelligent educated person I'd have to get a nice pair of red slippers like those checks with the fizz used to sell or yellow and a nice Simage and sprint morning gown that I badly want or a peach blossom dressing jacket like the one. Only go in while Paul's only or I'll just give him one more chance. I'll get up early in the morning, I'm sick of Cohen's old bed in any case I might go over to the markets to see all the vegetables and cabbages. And tomatoes and carrots and all kinds of splendid fruits all coming in lovely and fresh knows would be the first man I'd meet there out looking for it. In the morning Mummy Dylan used to say there and I to that. Was her masking I'd love a big juicy pear now to melt in your mouth. Like when I used to be in the lunning way then I'll throw him up. His eggs and tea and the moustache cup she gave him to make his mouth bigger. I suppose he'd like mine ice cream too I know what I'll do will go. About rather gay not too much singing a bit now and then my for Peter. My sister then will start dressing myself to go out presto nonsense P40L. Put on my best shift and drawers let him have a goodie full out of. That to make his Mickey stint for him and let him know if that's what. He wanted that his wife is fucked yes and damn well fucked you after. My neck nearly knocked by him 5 or 6 times and running there's the mark off. His spunk on the clean sheet I wouldn't bother to even iron it at that. What to satisfy him if you don't believe me feel my belly unless I made him stand there and put him into me of a mind to tell him every scrap and make him do it out in front of me serve him right it's all his own fault if I am an adultess as the thing in the gallery. Said oh much about it if that's all the harm ever we did in this. Fail of jizz God knows it's not much doesn't everybody only they hide it I. Suppose that's what a woman is supposed to be there for or he wouldn't have made us the way he did so attractive to men then if he wants her. Kiss my bottom will drag open my drawers and bulge it right out in his face as large as life he can stick his tongue 7 miles up my hole. As is there my brown part then I'll tell him I want one or perhaps I'll tell him I want to buy underclothes then if he gives me that well he won't be too bad I don't want to soak it all out. I've him like other women do I could often have written out a fine check for myself and write his name on it for a couple of pounds a few times he forgot to lock it up, besides he won't spend it to let him do it off on me behind, provided he doesn't smear all my good drawers all. I suppose that could be helped to do the indifferent 1 or 2 questions all. No by then says when it's like that he can keep a thing back higher. No every turn in him will tighten my bottom well and let out a few smudgy words more and poor like my shit or the first mad thing comes into my head, then all suggest about you, so wait now sonny, my turn is coming out. Be quite gay and friendly over it, but I was forgetting this bloody pest. I've a thing for you all and know which to laugh or cry with such a mixture of plum and apple, no I'll have to wear the old thing so much. The better it'll be, more pointed he'll never know whether he did it or not. That's good enough for you, any old thing at all, then I'll wipe him off me just like a business, his omission, then I'll go out, I'll have him eyeing up at the ceiling. Where is she going now, make him want me, that's the only way a quarter afterward, and unearthly are I suppose I just getting up in China now, coming out their pigtails for the day, we'll soon have the nuns ringing the angelus, they've nobody coming in to spoil their sleep except Aloud. Priest O2 for his night of frizz, so the alarm clock next door at cockshop clattering the brains out of itself. Let me see if I can doze off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what kind of flowers are those they invented like the stars? The wallpaper in Lombard Street was much nicer, the apron he gave me was like that something, only I only wore it twice better low with this lamp and try again, so as I can get up early I'll go to Lamb's there beside ventilators and get then to send us some flowers to put about the place in case he brings him home tomorrow. Today I mean, no Friday's an unlucky day. First I want to do the place up some way that just goes in it, I think, while I'm asleep, then we can have music and cigarettes, I can accompany him. First I must clean the keys of the piano with milk. What'll I, where shall I wear a white rose or those furry cakes in Lipton's? I love the smell of a rich big sharpest of Dilby, although they're ones with the cherries in them, and the pinky sugared a couple of pounds of those, a nice plant for the middle of the table. I do get that cheaper in weight, whereas this I saw them not long ago. I love flowers, I do love to have the whole place swimming in roses. God of heaven, there's nothing like nature, the wild mountains, then the sea and the waves rushing, then the beautiful country with the fields of oats and wheat and all kinds of things, and all the fine cattle going about that word to your heart. Good to see rivers and lakes and flowers, all sorts of shapes and smells and colours springing up even out of the ditches, primroses and violets. Nature, it is as for them saying, there is no God, I wold and give a snap of my 2 fingers for all their learning. Why don't they go and create something? I often asked him, atheists or whatever they call themselves, go and wash the cobbles off themselves first, then they go howling for the priest and they dying, and why? Because they're afraid of hell on account of their bad conscience. Yes, I know them well, who was the first person in the universe before there was anybody that made it all to war, that they don't know, neither do I. So there you are, they might as well try to stop the sun from rising. Tomorrow the sun shines for you, he said the day we were lying among the rhododendrons on Hoth head in the grey tweed suit and his straw hat, the day I got him to propose to me. Yes, first I gave him the bit of seed cake out of my mouth, and it was leap year like now, yes, 16 years ago, my God, after that long kiss I near lost my breath. Yes, he said, I was a flower of the mountain. Yes, so we are flowers, all a woman's body. Yes, that was one true thing he said in his life, and the sun shines for you today. Yes, that was why I liked him, because I saw he understood or felt what a woman is, and I know I could always get round him, and I gave him all the pleasure I could leading him until he asked me to say yes, and I wouldn't, and so first only looked up over the sea and the sky. I was thinking of so many things he didn't know of Mauvais and Mr. Stanhope and Hester and Father and old Captain Groves and the sailors playing All Birds Fly. And I say stoop and washing up dishes, they called it, on the pier end. The sentry in front of the governor's house with the thing round his white helmet. Poor devil half roasted, and the Spanish girls laughing in their shawls and their tulle combs in the auctions in the morning, the Greeks and the Jews and their herbs. And the devil knows who else from all the ends of Europe and Duke Street. and the fowl market all clucking outside lobby sharns and the poor donkey slipping half asleep and the vague fellows in the cloaks asleep in the shade on the steps, and the big wheels of the carts of the bulls in the old castle thousands. 5 years old, yes, and those handsome moors all in white and turbans like kings, asking you to sit down in their little bit of a shop and wander with the old windows of the posted to glancing eyes a lattice seat for her lover, to kiss iron and the wine shops half open at night in the castanets, and the night we missed the boat I told you sure is the watchman going about stirring with his lamp and that awful deep down turned to in the sea crimson sometimes, like fire in the glorious sunsets and the fig trees in the lamed gardens, yes, and all the queer little streets and the pink and blue and yellow houses and the rose gardens and the jessamine and geraniums and cactus in Gibraltar as a girl where I was a flower of the mountain, yes, when I put the rose in my hair. Like the Andalusian gold she's door shall I wear a red, yes, and how he kissed me under the Moorish roll, and I thought well as well him as another. And then I asked him with my eyes to ask again, yes, and then he asked me would I yes to say yes, my mountain flower, and first I put my arms around him, yes, and drew him down to me so he could feel my breast all perfume, yes, and his heart was going like mad, and yes, I said yes, I will, yes. The end.